The following program may contain strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, lots to get in today. So I'm sure some of you guys have heard, of course, about David Chappelle, even from Dr. Dre and his ties to Compton. We're even going to touch on a little bit of racism in the hospital. Pretty sad story. Of course, the Roe v. Wade and China taking back all of their computers. Is that possible? Well, stay tuned. All that's coming up right here on The Real Reality. All right, everyone, welcome to the show. I am your host, Larry Ulrich. Hey, another episode. I think we're on number 4. Moving on up, right? As they say. All right, let's get into it. Let's start right here with the local stuff. As you can see on your screen, let's talk about Compton, city of Compton. And we remember in other episodes we talked about Compton doing some great things. Compton coming up, by the way. Remember we talked about Compton at the aviation program where they're building these pilots from ages 8 to 18. Perfect. Well, Compton is doing some other good stuff. Mr. Dr. Dre, who is a Compton native, well, he decided to give $10 million. $10 million to the new Compton High School. Now, for all my folk that live in LA and you've been through Compton, if you go down there, now what you're seeing right now, these are pictures of what the high school is going to look like. Let me get this right. $200 million project. $200 million. Dr. Dre heard about it. He came down and gave $10 million. So bravo, Dr. Dre. If you guys are in the city of Compton, I'm sure you guys drive around, you'll see it is dirt. Now, they said 2023. I'm going to go ahead and push it back and say maybe 2024, maybe knocking on 2025, because right now it is just an empty land with dirt. Now, you see tractors. You kind of see other equipment up in there, but they have a long way to go. 2023 is a little ambitious. We pray that they get there, but bravo to Dr. Dre, and we're going to show you a video. Tell me what you think.
It was a milestone in Compton this morning, groundbreaking for a new Compton high school. Among those there was Dr. Dre, who also donated millions of dollars for the new campus.
I know that whatever adversity I might be experiencing, having been raised in the city, doesn't just allow me to endure, it pushes me forward in life. My hope is that having the backbone of Compton coupled with access to a first-class education inclusive of the arts and a beautiful brand new environment helps to push you forward in life.
Yeah, this is a big deal. The old Compton High stood for more than a century. The new campus will also have a performing arts center that will seat 1,200 people. Well, construction of the new school is expected to be completed by 2024.
2024. All right, so we'll keep Dr. Dre picture up. Let me say a few things. So it is 2024, my correction. I think they're going to be pushing 2025 again. If you pass by there, you'll see. I want you guys to think back a couple of years ago. Dr. Dre, he had a lot of scrutiny because he gave a lot of money to USC. And I don't know if you guys remember, there were a lot of African Americans came forth and say, hey, A lot of blacks really don't get accepted to USC. So how can you give money to that school when a lot of students that look like you are not going to benefit? I'm sure you guys remember that story. That was probably about 6 years ago. I'm sure that stuck with Dr. Dre, and not saying that he didn't do a good thing, because I think he did a great thing. There are a lot of African Americans in that film program, which is great. I'm sure he had his personal reasons for giving to USC. I do want to applaud him on giving back to his hometown. And a lot of times, a lot of people, they get to a certain level of success. I tend to think they tend to move on. They may give a few $100 here, $1,000 here, but to make the true impact, you got to give the money, especially if you have it. And $10 million, a lot of people may say, he has beats, he's worth billions. What's 10 million? Let me tell you something. 10 million is a lot of money, because we can't count his coins. We don't know how much money he has. We don't know what he sacrificed to get that 10 million. So I want to give my hat off to Dr. Dre, and I'm glad that he came back. Hopefully the city of Compton reached out to him. And I'm so happy that he decided to go ahead and give his hard-earned $10 million back to his city. Bravo, Dr. Dre. All right, moving on. Story number 2. And remember, guys, you're tuning in live. Go ahead and comment. Go ahead and like, comment. Tell us what you think. We want to hear your thoughts. And we'll give you a shout out as well. African-American man accused the LA hospital of racism. His wife was pregnant, took her to the emergency room, sat in the emergency room for hours. She needed a C-section, and unfortunately, she passed away. This is not new, but I applaud this brother. I think this man, let me get this right. I'm looking at my other laptop, making sure I get it right. He's 39, 12 hours and 39 of dead. Yeah, so she apparently had to have been 39 years old. So I'm assuming he's around her age, maybe a little bit older. But let's hear what this brother has to say. Take a look.
A heartbreaking story today of a black mother who died of complications at Cedars-Sinai 6 years ago. Kira Johnson had just given birth to a baby boy.
Her family has been fighting her case for years, and now they're filing a new suit saying race actually played a part in what happened. KCAL 9's Jasmine Veal is live in our newsroom this afternoon with details on the civil rights lawsuit filed today. Jasmine.
Susie Wan, so there's a wrongful death lawsuit that goes to trial next week. And today, that civil rights lawsuit was also filed. The family of Kira Johnson says she was a wonderful mother, pilot, and businesswoman. And now they want to send a message about race and medical care. This is video of Kira Johnson kissing her oldest son goodbye before she heads into the operation room at Cedars-Sinai for a planned C-section on April 12th. 2016, to deliver her baby boy Langston. 12 hours later, she would die in the operating room.
I trusted this place with the thing in my life that was most precious.
Her husband, Charles Johnson, stood with his attorneys and community advocates outside Cedars Wednesday after filing a civil rights lawsuit against the hospital. They claim she would be alive today if she was a white woman.
There's no doubt in my mind that my wife would be here today and be here Sunday celebrating Mother's Day with her boys if she was a Caucasian woman.
Johnson says doctors found 3 liters of blood in her abdomen after the C-section. The complaint states the surgery was done recklessly. The time start to finish was a mere 17 minutes. Johnson says he pleaded with nurses for hours to get her a CT scan after noticing blood in her catheter. He says he remembers pleading with one nurse in particular to help.
She said, "Sir, your wife just isn't a priority right now."
When Kira finally did get into the operating room, he says it was too late.
And when those doors to that operating room closed behind her, that was the last time I saw my wife alive.
Johnson says Kira's story is one of many backing up the statistic that Black women are 4 to 6 times more likely to die from childbirth in California than white women. His attorneys released what they say is damning employee testimony on the hospital's practices.
When things go bad, we just ship them to ICU. Then if they die there, it doesn't count against us.
Okay, the Black patients come in, I say an extra prayer, and that has been my creed of my career, that all goes well, because you do have racism.
And it's given us what we need to prove, based on their testimony, their literature, their evidence, that Kira died because she's Black.
Johnson says he will not stop fighting for the wife he lost.
So I will not be satisfied until every single mother in the United States receives the dignified, safe birthing experience that she deserves.
Cedars-Sinai released this statement saying that, of course, it cannot legally comment on this patient's care, but said in part, while disparities exist throughout our society, we are actively working to eradicate unconscious bias in healthcare and advance equity in healthcare. More broadly, we commend Mr. Johnson for the attention he has brought to the important issue of racial disparities in maternal outcomes. Kira Johnson's death has already inspired new state and federal laws as well on maternal mortality rates and training programs in hospitals to combat racism.
Yeah. Okay. Lot to tackle with this. So I have my the reason just to let you guys know, what's up, my man? This brother tuned in. That's Texas for you. So you remember it, right? Yeah. His daughter got into USC for giving all that money, which exposed. Yeah, that's true. I think I do remember that. Let me read from my other laptop because I want you guys to know. So this was April 12th, 2016. He said he walked into Cedars-Sinai. This was supposed to be the happiest day of his life. Now, let me tell you how accomplished his wife was. She was in good health before she walked in, of course. Charles said in the past interviews that his wife spoke 5 languages, was a licensed pilot, a marathon runner, and had gone skydiving solo. So she was well accomplished. And, you know, you got to ask yourself, you do this American pattern. You go to college, you get this picket fence, you get married, you have children. That's what they tell you to do. You do it. But Black folk got to do a little bit more. So we got to speak 5 languages. We got to run in every marathon to prove not all of us have high blood pressure or we eat a bunch of salt on our food. Just silly stuff, right? But that still wasn't good enough. And what they did was they put her in the boat of any Black person that is uneducated, that's never been anywhere, that may be single, all these stereotypes. They put us all in the same category. That's all they saw. They had no idea, absolutely no idea that this woman was that accomplished. And it meant absolutely nothing. And I wanted to point out in that video what that nurse said, we just ship them to ICU and it doesn't count against us. You know, bravo to this man, to that brother, because that needs to be brought up. That needs to be some type of mandate. Why haven't they done that before? And you know, it's a little personal for me because let me tell you something. I just switched my insurance from another one to this one. And Cedars-Sinai is part of this insurance plan. So it's making me wonder a little bit, you know, God forbid, I just pray, knock on my head, nothing tragic happens to where I have to go. This is what I'm thinking, and you guys give me your opinion. Type in the chat, comment, and tell me what would you do moving forward or what advice you will give. My advice is this. You know, if you're dealing with someone that needs to go to the emergency room, it's going to cost you extra. But to get that immediate attention, you know what I would do? I would call 911 and get an ambulance. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Because when that ambulance roll you in, they have to give you immediate attention. They're not going to roll you off the ambulance, put you in the waiting room and say, okay, wait 3 to 4 hours. They're not going to do that. Yeah, it may cost you extra $1,500 to $2,500, maybe less if you're in a different state. But that's what I would do. That's what I would do, unless you have a private doctor and the doctor's anticipating your spouse having a baby. Then that's different. But if you go into a regular hospital, you are African American, you know what? Listen to this story. I got to be honest. My advice to you, if you're out there watching, you're out there listening, call 911 and have an ambulance take you to the emergency room. That's what I would do. That would eliminate all this racism BS, all this bigotry BS, placing you on the side, treating you like you're worthless. Call 911, let the ambulance take you. Again, here on the show, I'm sure Pyro Media Network, we all commend that brother. We all support this brother, and we hope that he gets justice soon. And we hope that Cedars-Sinai can change that policy. We hope that they're able to hire staff that are cognizant, and most of all, staff that really are fulfilling why they're there, which is about the damn patients. Be passionate about the patient. That's what you're there for. All right, Justin G. Wow, this has been going on for years. Give blacks the low-rated, give whites highest effective medicine. Reason we have to sit out, research meds before we go to the doctor. They want to give us the generic brand and give them the real deal. And you want to know what's probably sad too? They probably pay the same damn price. Hey, come on. It's true. But it's what we got to deal with. But we thank this brother because if he doesn't fight, laws doesn't change, people don't change. So again, we applaud you and we are with you. Moving on to the next story, story number 3. Now this could be national, but this is local because it happened right here in LA at the Hollywood Bowl. We all heard about it. David Chappelle. So David Chappelle was attacked on stage, apparently. Well, not apparently, he was attacked. Again, at the Hollywood Bowl, I think it was a sold out. You know, I love David Chappelle. I like what he stands for. You know, I've seen his comedy special, especially on Netflix. We love that brother. We know he's going through a lot. He's bounced back. So congratulations to that brother. But watch this video. I'm sure some of you guys seen it. We want to give TMZ the credit because this is their video. But tell us what you think.
Behind me on the DJ table is one of the most prolific producers that hip hop has ever presented, the mighty Mad Lib. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for hip hop history. I am going to kill that. Wait, I gotta see this.
All right, so I'm sure you guys seen it. So I'm just kind of reading off so I can get the information correct. But apparently that, of course, that was another Netflix special. And they're saying that Netflix will not air that episode. I don't really know why they wouldn't. You know, I think that, I don't know what you guys think, but do you think that should be shown? You know, I know you don't want to take away from the special, but, you know, I think on the other hand, should you show it? Because you got to bring awareness to it to say this is not okay. You know, a lot of people think this has stemmed from that whole Will Smith, Chris Rock, people just storming on stage, hitting folk, doing what they want to do. Nothing's going to happen. Nobody's suing. You know, was that a domino effect? They're also saying this, that I believe the charges may have been downgraded with the young man. He looked like he was probably late 40s. They did say he had a mental illness, that he maybe had I think he had a plastic knife. You know, I don't care if it was plastic, metal, whatever the case is, he shouldn't have had his ass on that stage. But I will give David Chappelle Hollywood Bowl security credit. They came out immediately to ensure that they, that David Chappelle was safe. Kind of makes you wonder, with the Hollywood Bowl. And those that have been to the Hollywood Bowl, you kind of see it's a free environment. You bring, and those that don't know, you bring your own food. You sit there. It's beautiful. The sound system is state of the art. Beautiful concerts, comedy series. But it makes you wonder, what happened to the security? Why is the security not actually at the tail end, towards the front of the stage, at the bottom level? Because how did that man just jump up there and run? Because, guys, he could have killed him. He really could have. Or he could have injured him badly. Thank God he may have missed. They came out there right on time. But I do disagree with the courts on this. I don't think they should have minimized his sentence or his crime. I think they should send a message out that this is not okay. I think we're starting to see a trend of people jumping on stages, doing what they want to do. And that's not okay, because everybody's not Chris Rock. Everybody's not Dave Chappelle. And people will fight your ass back. And they will. And we don't know people. Yeah, they may be a comedian. They may be popular, they may be famous, but you don't know what people have on them. What if David Chappelle is licensed in California to carry a weapon and he had one on him? Seriously. It's justified. He could have pulled it out and shot the man. The man attacked him. Or what if he had a knife on him? We don't know what Dave Chappelle experienced in his past comedy acts. What if somebody stormed on stage? They just didn't air it and we didn't know. It didn't make the news. How do we not know? Yes, security... normally in the front facing the audience. Yeah, I don't understand that, Justin G. I don't get it. They should be, especially after what happened with the Oscars. So I hope this sends a message to all the different performers. Actually, if you're a performer, you're a comedian, if you're performing at a big venue, I don't care if it's big or small, you make sure you tell that venue, listen, you need to have security at the front of the stage. Because we can't have nobody storming up on people, man, because this is how people get seriously hurt. And we don't need any more tragedies, but that could have turned into one. So thank God Dave Chappelle is okay. And thank God that security came out. So again, guys, that's the end of the local news. National news is coming up next after this quick commercial break. right, everyone, welcome back to the show. Yeah, just to recap a little bit, we did cover some of the little local news. Of course, we talked about Dr. Dre, the man suing Cedars-Sinai for his wife passing away, who needed a C-section, and Dave Chappelle. So let's now move to a little bit of national news. This one is a little, oh, wow. It's like, woo! Westfield Mall. Now, Justin G, of course, I'm from Texas. I don't think we have Westfield in Houston. You know what? Maybe they purchased those malls in Houston. Come in and let us know. Westfield Mall. If you're in LA, Westfield Mall is everything. They pretty much own all the malls that they, besides the Beverly Center, right? So they pretty much, these are all the malls. The famous Fox Hill Mall. Westfield came in, they purchased it, renovated, looks perfect. But their biggest one, the most expensive one, is in Century City. They spent some money on this mall. This mall is so state of the art. But then COVID hit. And now all the Westfields are selling their malls nationwide. Take a look at this video.
All right, new at noon. Get ready for a change in your shopping habits. The owner of Westfield Malls plans to sell all the properties in the U.S. after pandemic fears sped up changes to how people shop. Its malls in the Los Angeles area include high-profile properties like Westfield Century City, Westfield Santa Anita in Arcadia, and Westfield Topanga and the Village in Warner Center. The company didn't elaborate on whether the malls might be sold together or individually, but all 24 are to be sold by 2023.
Yeah, 2023. So I'm reading a little bit of the statistics that said that the gross U.S., so let's talk about the rental income, but they were just talking about how the numbers have decreased due to COVID. You know, we don't really know. I think COVID is a good scapegoat for a lot of people, but let's be honest, the malls, they did suffer because you weren't able to go. They did lose money. So that I understand. But we really don't know what happened. We don't know if it was poor management. We don't know if someone internally may have embezzled money. And I'm not saying that's what happened. We just don't know. Because I find it strange that all of the stores are being sold. It sounds like to me whoever owns Westfield is trying to retire and move on. They're trying to get paid. They try to get paid out and say, whoever buy, you can do what the hell you want to do with these malls. I'm over it. That's what it sounds like to me. Because when you go under, you usually sell 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4, maybe 10, 15 locations across the globe. But to sell them all, I can't really blame that on the pandemic. I'll say the pandemic may be about 25% of it. Those that are watching, comment, let's see what you think. I think, again, it's not a big factor. It played a little bit, but Westfield, I can't say I patronize Westfield. I love Westfield. I think their mall is great. They sell some, it's a basic mall. They got Macy's. Look, oh God, I'm about to tell my age. I was gonna say Dillard's. Dillard's been long gone now. I used to love me some Dillard's. Dillard's had some nice clothes for men, but Dillard's fell off a little bit at the end, which is why they're gone. Of course, Sears been gone, but they have Macy's, Penny's. Malls are slowly dying here. Really, even in Houston. Justin G, talk about how is it at the Galleria in Houston? But that's the thing. This is something new. Do we think that malls are going to just die out? Because guess what's the replacement? It's Amazon. We've gotten into the habit of just ordering. If it don't fit, it don't look right, send it back. Me, I quite don't understand that with clothing, furniture. I'm a little old school. It's not really old school, but I think it's really just wise. You need to go to the mall or go to a place and you need to try those clothes on. You know how you used to get real mad at your mama. She say, boy, go back in there and try them pants on. You're like, I don't want to try them on. You get tired of putting them damn clothes on. Well, listen, as you get older, you get it. We used to say that because guess what? It wasn't our money. We didn't care. We just got tired of putting them on. But when it's your money, you care. You be trying on 50 pair of pants and don't mind a bit of it. But Westfield, I think this story is going to pan out throughout the year. I think we're going to find out the real reason. But if I had to put my money on it, I would definitely say it's due to the owners just trying to get the hell out of there, get paid, and move on with their life. All right, next story. This has been a touching story. I think it was 1972 when this case hit. It's Roe v. Wade. This abortion thing is it's a touchy subject. taking away a woman's right is definitely inhumane. But let's watch this video to get a little bit more details, and we'll talk about it afterwards. Take a look.
Abortion saves lives! Abortion saves lives! Abortion is violence! Abortion is oppression!
Both sides have come to make a stand at the foot of the US Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, whose very purpose is to protect their rights and uphold the Constitution, yet which now stands accused of stripping those rights away.
Abortion is oppression!
America has woken up to a new reality today, where a woman's ability to have an abortion in place for the past 50 years is set to no longer be a constitutional right and taken away by the very institution that enshrined those rights in the first place.
And I just pray for those in our nation who've chosen abortion, Lord God.
Getting rid of Roe has been the ambition of conservative America for decades, and today it looks like they finally got their way.
Somebody oppose abortion because it kills babies.
We're all coming together to say that human rights should belong to all human beings, born or unborn.
What about the rights of women who want to choose to do with their body what they want to do?
Committing violence against a human being and
is that how you see it?
Yes, abortion objectively is violence against a human being.
When Roe is no longer protected, that doesn't mean abortion is going to stop happening. It means safe abortions will stop happening. And we all know the cost of that.
Good evening. In a landmark ruling, the Supreme Court today legalized abortions.
A woman's right to choose was enshrined in a historic ruling, Roe versus Wade, nearly 50 years ago.
I am pro-life, and I will be appointing pro-life judges.
As a candidate, Donald Trump promised to nominate conservative judges. As president, he did exactly that, giving the court a conservative majority. And last year, they agreed to hear a case that sought to ban the procedure after 15 weeks. They were expected to uphold that ban, but in a draft version of its decision leaked last night, the justices have gone much further. The Constitution, it said, makes no reference to abortion, and no such right is implicitly protected by any constitutional provision. As a result, Roe, the draft said, must be overruled.
If they're going to be so literal in their translation, be prepared, because this culture war is going to take us beyond abortion. It's going to take us into family planning. The rights of those who are LGBTQ and certainly gay marriage are all at stake in this culture war that the Supreme Court is pushing on the American people now.
My body, my choice! My body, my choice!
The court's final decision is expected in July, but if this draft remains unchanged, American states will be allowed to ban abortion, raising the prospect that women in 2022 will have fewer rights than their mothers.
Yeah, this is a lot to unpack. If I had to give my 2 cents, I think it's a woman's right to do what she wants to do with her body. None of us, I don't think any one of us are out here to say killing a baby is okay. I think that's her choice. That's what she has to deal with moving forward. I don't think it's fair to us to judge her or her situation because we don't know. A lot of us have never been in that situation. I want to show, and I saw the states up, and we can put the states, let's leave it right there. We can make it bigger. There we go. So because this happened, the likelihood of it happening, this is the U.S. court that overturned. So these are mainly your Republican states. So I think what they're going to do is give the power back to the state. That's probably, and I think that's what the Democrats are fighting for. They're trying to get it away immediately, but we're assuming that the right's going to go back to the state. But as you can see on this map, you have Texas, look like Utah, I believe that's Arizona, Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, of course, all the South, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, that looked like South Carolina, a little bit of North. No, it looked like just South, Ohio, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and of course, Texas. So we're assuming if it goes back to the states, these are the states that will overturn Roe v. Wade and take away a woman's right to abort a baby. I do want to touch on what this young lady said. She was absolutely correct. Safe abortions will be taken away, but I think this decision is going to turn deadly. I think a lot of people, a lot of women that feel they can't take care of a baby, whether it's a irresponsible decision, whether the woman was raped, depending on the situation. Many of them will probably try to self-abort. I think many of them will end up traveling to a Democratic state where they can get an abortion. Or, as we all talked about, like we did last week, what do they do with these plastic surgeries? They end up going like to Dominican Republic and all these other places. Well, that's what they're going to do. They're going to go to Mexico. They're going to go to Dominican Republic. They're going to go to other countries because they can't do it here. And if they don't do it the right way, then, well, you're looking at not only the death of a baby, but the mother. I'm going to touch on this at the end. What is the real reality? But I think the Supreme Court got this wrong. I think this is a way to support Trump's upcoming election to show that he's still in power, he still has influence. And I don't think it's right. You know, I think, that, again, this is bad for women. This is men coming in telling you how to live your life. And I don't think that's fair. I think women have excelled to a level to where they should be respected as the same level as men. And this just showed that we're going to put a woman back in her place. And I don't think that's fair. Yeah, women should have the right to do what they want to do, but I will touch on that at the end of the show. All right, moving on. Story number 3. This touched my heart. It's a majority black school. I think Lincoln College is an HBCU, historically black college and university. They are shutting its doors. Check this out. Listen to this. After 157 years. Look at those pictures up there. That's one of their main buildings, historic building. So you can't tear it down. Now, I don't know who these folk are. These must be some teachers. But Lincoln University is a small black school. But they're saying, based on, let me get it right, ransomware, they have to shut its doors. Take a look at this video and we'll talk after.
Students for more than 157 years. Lincoln College is shutting down for good.
The current class of seniors will be the final to graduate from the college. President David Gerlach joins us now to explain how the school came to this much and very difficult decision. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Let's get into it. We know the school survived the economic crisis of 1887, a campus fire, the Spanish flu, war, and so much more. What was it about the coronavirus pandemic that made it so difficult for the school to survive this time?
Well, we served many students in the Chicagoland area. We're a predominantly Black institution. 50% of our students are first generation. And so the pandemic really affected our ability to enroll students. We couldn't get into the Chicagoland high schools as they were shut down and students were doing their work from home. And so very challenging, 2.5 years of flat enrollment. And we were on a fantastic turnaround. We were founded as a university in 1865, and since 2015, my arrival, we added 12 bachelor degrees, 2 master's degrees, and competing in the Chicagoland Conference for the NAIA. And so we saw this college turning around by next fall, but flat enrollments in 2020, 2021, and now projected for 2022. We just couldn't continue to operate.
Oh, that is such a tough one. Let me ask you this. We mentioned that the seniors are going to be able to graduate. What is going to happen to the underclassmen and the juniors here?
We have a transfer fair coming on the 14th of April. We have a number of colleges coming. To be honest, I'm preparing for working to get these students to be able to transfer, but at the same time, I'm hoping that there is a large miracle donation that could occur and that we could back off of what we're doing. These students absolutely love it here, the small campus environment. We're one of only 7 rural, predominantly Black institutions in the United States. And so as much as it pains me that we may likely have to close, I still am holding out hope.
Real quick question before we let you go. We've run out of time here, but how many students total are impacted and how many employees will be impacted by this closure?
We have about currently full-time students here at the Lincoln campus, about 530, about 300 employees were notified last Wednesday. Teary-eyed, it was a very sad day, and I had students even protest, come over to my office. I absolutely love that. I support that. And but sad times here after 157 years, named the only college named after President Lincoln while he was still living.
Wow, that's incredible. And you know what? We're going to be holding out hope too for you. President David Gerlach with Lincoln College. We appreciate your time this afternoon and good luck.
Yeah, wow. So remember what he said, a miracle donation. Yeah, wow, I missed the story. I know, isn't that sad? Remember he talked about a miracle donation. I'm looking at the data here. His donation is around 53 million is what they need. They need $53 million. So let's break this down. They said that it was affected by ransomware attack. Now, when I first came up with the story, when we wanted to break it, we was trying to figure out what is ransomware. So let me read this to you. Ransomware is a type of malicious software, listen to this, that infects a computer and restricts users' access to it until a ransom is paid to unlock it. Ransomware variants have been obstructed for several years and often attempted to extort money from victims by displaying an on-screen alert. Wow. We don't know where did the ransomware come from. Where did it come from? And why was that school targeted? Why? Think about it. Why not a USC, UCLA, Penn State, Duke? Why that school? That's just a small majority Black school in a rural area. Why that one? That one is no threat, right? It's not a big threat. Why were they targeting that school? Let me read this to you. So he said about 500 students are impacted. He really didn't answer the question about how many faculty, staff are infected. But let me read this to you. So as they said, they survived influenza. Remember that big flu outbreak, the Great Depression, World War II. Because remember, the school was founded even when Lincoln was still alive. Crazy. So apparently they're saying COVID, here we go, everybody blaming COVID. COVID hit, so that was a concern. But the brutal attack, trying to find my data here. But apparently they could not get into the system. So that's the financial aid system, the enrollment system. So they were literally locked out of all their systems. So they couldn't really enroll students. They probably couldn't accept financial aid from the state. They couldn't do it. So I see you say, who's behind trying to get the HBCU closed to turn the campus into something else? You know what? I didn't think about that. That is a good point. Yeah, I'm with you, Justin G. I don't know about this. It just doesn't seem. Why this school? If you want to listen, ransoming, you going somewhere where somebody have some damn money. Let's just be honest. a lot of these schools, these small schools, they don't have the money. If you're going to do a ransomware, go to these big schools. They have billions of dollars. They have $1 billion endowments. Go to those schools if you really want some money. I'm not sure I'm with you, Justin G. I'm curious. You know what? We're going to have to follow back up with this story because I want to look at that land. That's what I want to look at. I want to see, there you go. All right, let's keep that picture right there. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, now, this ain't all the land, but let's just use our imagination. Why not? This seems like it's on a pretty good piece of land. And if we look behind that picture, now my eyes are a little good. You know, I have some pretty good sight. It looks like it's a body of water behind that picture. You guys tell me what you think. I'm with Justin G on this. I'm not saying it was a corporation, but could this have been a corporation seeking to get that land? Because why is this school targeted? They're not a threat. They are a small majority Black school. Like hospitals. Yeah, it's true. I didn't think about the hospitals. It is a nice campus. Somebody wants that land. Somebody wants the land. I got to be honest, guys. I'm not buying this ransomware. I pray to God no one at Lincoln took any under-table money. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it. We're just talking out loud. This is just us having a good conversation. I just hope no side deals were made. I am curious, though, Justin G, if it is about the land. Always remember, because it's been around 157 years, I'm sure it's been deemed a historic landmark. So I'm sure because it's a historic landmark, you can't tear it down. But people are clever. They'll find ways to get around it, not to tear it down, but to build around it. Oh, how about that? That Jingles guy, right? This seems so, doesn't it seem weird, man? I agree with you. It's a no for me too. And again, when I read the definition, and let me read it one more time, guys, because this doesn't sound right. Kwame, you on here too. Tell me what you think. But ransomware is a malicious software that infects a computer and restricts users' access to it until a ransom is paid to unlock it. A ransom is paid to unlock it. I don't know about this one. This doesn't seem right. I'm going to put a bookmark on this because I think we need to follow back up with this story. Again, I think it's a historic landmark, but people are going to find ways to get around it because that land is precious. If that's body of water behind that land, I'm with you guys. I'm with you. This doesn't seem right. Something's not right. All right, moving on. Our fourth story, last one for our national news. Stimulus checks. Some of you guys thought the stimulus check is over with. Four states are going to be a part of the stimulus check. Now, remember, a couple shows ago, I talked about the gas, that California was going to give $400 to everyone that owns a car, and that's per car. So they're giving out stimulus check. They did say around $830. Not really know what the parameters are on the stimulus check. So here are the states. All right, let's pull this up pretty big so you guys can see the states. It's only 4 states, but we wanted to show you a map of every state. Why not? California, Delaware. The Delaware is far to the right. It's not a big state. Indiana, and Illinois. Those are your 4 states. You know what? I think they said, actually, there's another state because it's actually 5 states. Hawaii is another state. So it's California, Delaware, Indiana, Illinois, and Hawaii. If you don't live in those states and you're watching, just check check the news, do the research, see if it may come to your state. But California, Delaware, Indiana, Illinois, and Hawaii, if you live in those states, I need you to expect a stimulus check coming soon. All right, everyone, we're going to go to a quick commercial break and our international story coming up next. All right, now here's another story that kind of seems a little suspect to the one that we just talked about at the HBCU. China is now replacing, check this out, all their foreign computers. And this is across the globe. They want to replace their computers. This is bad because the US utilizes China for a lot of materials. You know, they're replacing them. So China has some suspicion, or China's up to something. So yeah, let's take a look at this video and we'll talk after it. Take a look.
Peter, why the move? And I thought all PCs were made in China anyway.
Hi, Rich. Yeah, this is part of a broader effort by Beijing to replace technology from foreign companies. We've seen this over the years. Some of these efforts have been successful. Some of them have not been very successful, but this is a quite dramatic move. They are urging government agencies and state-backed enterprises to replace their PCs, replace the foreign brands and instead put in domestic brands, which would be many, many PCs. We estimate more than 50 million PCs could be affected by this. The biggest PC maker now in China is Lenovo. They would likely benefit quite a bit from this move. The ones who are in lower down, the foreign PC makers, are Dell and HP in particular. They could lose substantial market share here as these organizations move away from the foreign PCs.
Does this complicate things, Peter, in terms of the US relationship when you've already got the US concerned about China security and now I guess China kind of doing the same thing?
Yeah, we've seen very tense relationships between Washington and Beijing on a number of fronts. Just this week, we heard about Hikvision, the security camera maker, likely being sanctioned by the U.S. with a round of very, very severe sanctions. So relationships are tense right now, and these decisions around commercial agreements between the companies and the government agencies are fraught with many opportunities for additional tensions. So it's an area to watch closely. How this also moves into software and some of the other areas of technology that have been sensitive in the past. Of course, sitting in the background is this discussion around delisting Chinese companies from U.S. exchanges. That's another very, very big issue that has not yet been resolved.
All right, so that's a lot to unpack. This sounds a little fishy to me, sounds a little tricky to me. I think they're recalling it, those computers. To me, I think it's a surveillance issue. I think we don't know what China is going to put into these computers. We're thinking we're calling Alexa and all these people, they're making it trendy, but really it is observing you. We don't know what's in there. We don't know how much control they will have over your device. That's a big problem. We use laptops, we use computers every day for work, to pay bills. How do we know this is not a way to get our credit card information, to get our banking information, our passwords? This is bad, guys. You have Apple being made over there, Lenovo. You know, they even talked about Dell. I mean, what other brand is it to purchase? So we got to be careful. We need to ask questions. Again, really do the research when you buy your next computer, because we don't know what this is really about. And most of all, protect your privacy. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, one quick, and what is the real reality? Coming up next.
Pyro Media Network is a proactive network focused on providing innovative space for content creators and entrepreneurs. PMN is dedicated to giving its viewers a diverse entertainment experience while helping content creators elevate their production, engagement, and overall branding. To date, PMN has reached over 1 million viewers and listeners internationally, produced over 72 successful shows with high ratings and fanfare, and has housed over 135 content creators, brands, and businesses through entertainment and consulting services exclusive to Pyro Media. Pyro Media Network is a space that makes you feel at home. So if you or someone you know wants to make an impact, then contact PMN by visiting www.pyromedianetwork.com, and we will take your production to the next level.
Thank you guys so much for watching this. I want to touch on to end the show with this story, of course, with the women's right, the abortion, the Roe v. Wade. This is what is the real reality. So, again, I think we have to honor our women. I think we have to value our women. I do not agree with this. I think it is a woman's right to choose what she wants to do with her body. I do think this is another another chauvinistic, masculine move to show that men are always in control. And I think that's unfair. This is not a Democrat thing. This is not a Republican thing. This is a humanitarian thing. Now, again, a lot of us are not against aborting babies because we want to see babies. We all love babies, but we don't know the woman's circumstance. And it's really not fair to tell her what she should do. Again, women should be valued. We have to honor them. And I believe this is a moment that I think this is just a gesture to put the women in their place. And that's not our role. That's not our role. Women are just as capable as men. Women are CEOs, they're pilots, they are running the world, and they are doing it quite well. So moving forward, we need to respect our women. And if there's a woman out there who is interested in getting an abortion, I'm assuming if you're in a state that is going to mandate it, I would definitely say you probably want to travel to a state where you can get the abortion. Again, I'm not advocating to tell you what you should do and what you should not do. I would advise if you decide to go outside internationally, please do your research. Please, please, please do your research. A lot of death has been associated because a lot of these doctors are not licensed. They may give you a license, but it's not legit. So please do your research. But at the end of the day, we need to cherish our women. We need to love our women, and we need to respect our women on the same level as us. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Pyro Media Network. To find out more information about the show, of course, pyromedianetwork.com. You can go to the YouTube page, Facebook, all the different social medias. Thank you guys that have been watching. I appreciate you guys so much. You have no idea what that means to me. See you guys next week. Thank you so much. Have a good night.